welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday, and we're reviewing Eclipse, New Dawn for the Galaxy. Okay, that's what it says right there.
Yes. There's lots of different ways to gain victory points in Eclipse.
A game of Eclipse places you in control of a vast interstellar civilization competing for success with its rivals. On each game round, you expand your civilization by exploring and colonizing new areas, researching technologies, and building spaceships to wage war with. Dangling participle. The game ends after 9 rounds, and the player with most victory points wins. Victory points are Eurogame stuff. Victory points are gained from controlling galactic sectors, fighting battles, forming diplomatic relations, researching technologies, making discoveries, and controlling monoliths.
That was not in there.
The Eurogame stuff?
The Eurogame part wasn't, no.
No, I was going to say.
There are many potential paths to victory, so you need to plan your strategy according to the strengths and weaknesses of your species, while paying attention to other civilizations' endeavors.
It's pretty much a short version of Twilight Imperium, not quite as deep. It's pretty much a worker placement, resource management game with space as a theme, but it has those elements of like Twilight Imperium in it too, where you want to expand, and you get a bit of like an Ameritrash idea to it as well. So it's kind of a cross, between the two, but it is mostly, in my opinion, an elaborate Euro game.
Victory points. It's Eurogame. You know how I feel about Eurogames. We found 2 main things in our plays of this game that you need to do. You need to go heavy on science, because Chris has managed to win the game just going science and nothing else. And you need to be
on your race too.
You need to be somewhat aggressive, at least against the NPCs, which is what I like about this game. You can get your aggression on against NPCs without starting trouble amongst your fellow players.
Yes, there's ancient ships that appear on sectors as you explore them, and they're pretty tough if you're against your base civilization. But as soon as you upgrade your ships a little bit, they're pretty manageable.
You don't have to be as aggressive, expansive as you would think. You can take maybe 5 or 6 sectors and stop there and have enough to keep your empire rolling. And with the addition of those neutral ships that aren't belonging to anybody, the ancient ships, that you can pummel on, you can get some pretty good victory points for combat without having to get into it with anybody else around the table. When you have a combat, just for participating, even if you get your hat handed to you and kicked out the door, you're going to get 1 pull out of the victory chip
Reputation
bag.
tile.
Random, 1 to 4. Yeah. But if you kill enemy ships, you'll get more, and the more you get up to the more ships you get up to the maximum of 5 that you get to pull out, and choose which one you like, throw the rest back. Yeah. Now on your race board, you have room for several. On this particular one, he has room for 5 of those victory tiles total. So once you've got 5, next one you pull, say, well, is this better than what I got down there? No, I won't keep it. But those 5 are it. So you can't just go out and do combat and clobber everybody.
Yeah, it's limited.
Yeah.
Well, you get something, you're going to replace one that's there, but you can't keep adding to it.
If you got the technology highly researched, you can get up to 5 victory points per track. And there's 3 different tech tracks. So if you look at the player boards, you have your technologies you put there, you got your resources, you got your turn markers, so the more actions you take, the more money you're going to owe at the end of your turn. You got your current storage for all your different types of currencies. And up here you have your blueprints for your ships. And there are lots of fun things to add on to your ships, like bigger weapons, shields, computers for being able to hit the enemies better, and stronger hulls.
Well, there are basic ship upgrades you can get that you don't need research for. You don't need to research them. There's anything anybody can grab, but a lot of the stuff in the game, the bulk of it, you need to research first, and that uses up the pink resources. Pink track there, you'll probably see in component vision. It's the center track, and when you research something, you put it on the appropriate track here, and the farther up you get on any of these tracks, you're going to start gaining victory points for the farther you get up.
And it's also going to start costing you less to buy the technology.
Yeah, and it also costs less. You got a good variety of alien races in there, or you could just flip all those cards over and everyone play as humans and start off pretty much on an equal footing.
You see how these different sections here, you start off at the start of the game populating all these sections, the cubes with little cubes in your color, and these with discs in your color, and it fills all that up. And as you do things, you take them off. The discs go off either up into the area that you choose to do or onto the planet that in the center to show you've claimed it. These go off onto the areas in the planet, and the more these you come off, the more of each one of those you make each round. That is correct.
You reveal a higher number.
Yes. And the problem is, as Ken said, the more of these you take off, the more money it's going to cost you all the time. So
Chris actually said that.
Yeah, I know, but you were thinking it.
You know, I'm a notoriously bad die roller, so I like the computers on my ships, which makes it easier to hit the opponent's ships. So in combat, a 6 is a hit. Period. If you roll a 6 on the dice, no matter how much shields your opponent's got, no matter what, you will always get a hit, and 1s will always be a miss. But if you have enough computers on your ship, look, a 2 can possibly be a hit. And that's really good for people who can't roll the dice, like me.
One thing you really want to do, though, is expand as fast as possible in this game. Because if you don't, you're going to sit in your own little corner. You're not going to have the resources you need to progress in this game. Because resources, whether it be the money, science, or just the plain old brown resources, materials, you're not going to get anywhere. You won't be able to research. You won't be able to move. You won't be able to do anything. You know, you won't be able to build anything. So you need to explore and get out there and go for it. Now,
I ain't saying it twice.
Wrapping up for Eclipse. I gave Eclipse a 9 for a dice fest, and don't get me wrong, this is a dice fest, but it's fun. You can mitigate the dice rolling, and thankfully, it's only D6s. It's not crazy D20s or D12s or D10s or even D8s. Just the good old D6s. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's definitely more than one strategy. Your strategy is, like, depending on your race, you might want to go a different way. Like the one time when I was the race that could do 2 research 2 technologies with a 1 research action was really strong for getting my technology up fast. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love the space exploration, conquest. It's good.
Game is pretty fun. I'm going to give it an 8. I like the game. I like that there, the different races, the different abilities they have and everything like that. And I like the option of being able to flip it over to the human side and playing everyone on a level playing field at the start of the game. That's a great idea. It's way shorter than Twilight Imperium. I love that game too, but the only thing I don't like about it is the length. I love the depth of it. This one doesn't quite have the depth, in my opinion, but the options for, getting ahead and expanding and choosing different paths to victory is still good. I think everything works pretty well. The rules are pretty clear. The game components are very nice. The artwork's nice.
I give Eclipse an 8. Easy to play. It is. Surprisingly, it looks complex. But as soon as you get into it, it's an easy game to play. And fun to play, yeah. Because, as I said, you can get your aggression on without having to start trouble with the other guys. You're going to start trouble with the other guys in the later turns. Because the galaxy is not that big. Yeah. No matter how many players, it adjusts based on how many players. So it's always just big enough that by the 3rd turn, you're going to be bumping into each other. It's a space-themed game, and I enjoy space-type games. It's fairly simple to play and straightforward. Everything is pretty much on your player board or on the sectors that you control.
That's it for this episode of The Gamers Table. Tune in next Monday when we review another game. Yep. It's along the lines of a Twilight Imperium, but it's really condensed down. It's got a turn limit, so the game ends at game has an actual ending at a certain point where both games are scored on victory points, but like Twilight Imperium is scored to 10, and Eclipse your final score is around 40.
It's one small step for man, one